Your loved one is eager to speak with you. They have amazing news to tell. Don't skip this, my dear child, for what's going to happen is not your typical message. It's the kind of moment that permanently alters a person's heart's course. Somewhere, someone who has been silently thinking about you has gotten to the point where it seems hard to remain silent. They have mentally replayed innumerable discussions, wondering how to start, how to express what they have been keeping hidden, and if your heart is prepared to hear it. However, an unforeseen event occurred. All of their trepidation was transformed into courage in a single instant and awareness. They are now unable to wait any longer. They don't want another day to go by without bringing the truth nearer to you. There's a big thing waiting for you, so stay until the very end. Their desire to talk is not the most unexpected aspect. That's why they feel compelled to speak out of the blue. Imagine having amazing news that could make someone's entire world happier, but being too anxious to tell them. They have been precisely there. Their enthusiasm has grown stronger with each hour that has gone by, to the point where speaking has become less important than silence. The next few moments show what changed inside of them, so don't skip. And after you hear it, every aspect of this tale will start to make sense in a way you never would have thought possible. Hesitancy used to act as an unseen wall between both hearts. Every chance appeared to come at the wrong time. Every emotion remained incomplete. However, something amazing was quietly taking place beneath the surface while everyone else thought nothing was changing. Unbeknownst to you, the person you love was gathering small experiences that were tied to you. A recollection that would not go away. During a hectic day, they unintentionally recalled a smile. When everything else became cacophonous, they heard a familiar voice echoing in their minds. Together, these moments created something that was impossible to ignore, even though none of them seemed significant on its own. Then the pivotal moment arrived. A revelation so surprising that it fundamentally changed their perspective on the future. All of a sudden, the doubts that had previously prevented them started to vanish one by one. They began questioning why they had waited so long rather than if they ought to get in touch. They have been followed everywhere by that question. Stay until the very end because the amazing news they are carrying is linked to this realization, which is much greater than anybody else can comprehend. There is something enormous in store for you. However, the biggest surprise hasn't even been disclosed yet. Their confidence grows as they get closer to you, as if each step is taking them in the direction they were always supposed to go. The tone of this story is now starting to shift. Uncertainty is replaced by excitement. Hesitancy is replaced by hope. The person you love is no longer looking for the ideal opportunity to strike up a conversation. They are trying to find the ideal moment. And they don't want common terms when that time comes. They want their opening statement to convey everything that their hearts haven't been able to say thus far. They are getting ready to share some amazing news that is neither insignificant, fleeting, or forgettable. It's the kind of news that causes people to pause, grin, and recognize that sometimes the brightest surprise comes after the longest wait. However, they are still guarding one last piece. They want it to have the biggest possible impact, so they won't reveal one truth too soon. Nobody knows how close that secret detail is. Nothing about this journey will feel the same once it is revealed. Don't skip it since that's when everything starts to take shape. The following chapter will expose the words they have been withholding for far too long, so stay until the very end because something enormous is waiting for you. They are starting to experience a new emotion that is more powerful than anything they have ever attempted to conceal. The moment the person you love hears your voice again is something they can't stop picturing. They've already imagined your response more times than they can count, wondering if you'll laugh quietly, smile, or just stop because you sense how important this talk is. They are no longer considering what-if scenarios, which is what distinguishes this. They are considering the time. Everything within them has changed as a result of that one alteration. The amazing news they have been carrying is becoming too potent to be concealed any longer. It seems like a light that they are unable to conceal. Every day now serves as a reminder that when significant words are finally spoken rather than kept hidden, life takes on greater significance. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. This story's following moment is not a coincidence. It is based on bravery. They are getting ready to replace distance with a dialogue that has the capacity to transform everything, uncertainty with optimism, and unanswered questions with clarity. The biggest surprise is still hidden, just waiting to be revealed at the perfect moment, so stay until the very end. There was another event that went unnoticed by those around them. Everyone thought they were just going through another typical day, but their hearts silently made a decision that was irreversible. Instead of looking for excuses to keep quiet, they began looking for excuses to talk. Suddenly, every memory associated with you became evidence that certain relationships merit candor rather than reluctance. They even noticed that they were grinning for no apparent reason when they realized how exciting the future they had previously feared now felt. They have a promise they have been making to themselves along with the wonderful news they wish to share, which is full of hope. Instead of using dramatic language to make their next conversation with you memorable, they want it to be based on sincere truth. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. Their sudden confidence is still due to one unspoken factor. All of the delays, unanswered questions, and silent chapters will eventually make perfect sense once that reason is made clear. The last piece has not yet been revealed, so stay until the very end. Everything starts to move more quickly now. With each passing instant, the person you love may practically feel the gap between your two hearts getting narrower. Nothing seems big enough to convey what they really want you to know, so they are practicing their first words and changing them repeatedly. They want this to be more than simply a passing discussion. They want it to stick in your memories long after it's over. The fantastic news that they have been keeping secret for so long has gotten to the point where it won't go away. With enthusiasm, hope, and a future they never had the guts to envision before, it is prepared to enter the light. However, they have yet to disclose one astounding detail. They want its impact to be unforgettable, not out of fear. Every hint you've heard up to this point could be connected into one amazing revelation by that ultimate truth. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. Stay until the very end because nothing will ever feel the same between you after the first words leave their hearts in the next chapter. Everything has been building toward this precise moment. Your loved one has finally stopped questioning whether or not to get in touch because their heart has already decided for them. They are aware that holding off would only cause something lovely that has been attempting to find its way into the light to continue to be delayed. For the first time in a long time, all of their previous doubts are replaced by a serene confidence. They no longer fear being misinterpreted. Rather, they are thrilled to be totally truthful. The fantastic news they have been safeguarding is now more than just a concept. In their hearts, it is already a reality. Before the interaction ever takes place, they can practically hear it. They picture themselves telling you everything they've wanted to say, watching the silence fade, and witnessing hope replace it. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. The biggest reveal is still being well guarded, so stay until the very end. All of the hints you've heard thus far have only served to set you up for what's to come. They become increasingly aware that this is more than just exchanging info as they get closer to conversing. It's about starting a fresh chapter that they thought would never come. Their wakefulness, dreams, and outlook on the future have all changed as a result of that realization. They have a deep-seated sense that this conversation is scheduled to take place at precisely the appropriate moment, and that time is drawing nearer than anyone anticipates. They can no longer conceal their excitement for another reason. They recently became aware of something that fundamentally altered their viewpoint. They came to understand that certain possibilities don't last forever and that certain emotions get much more value when they are eventually articulated fearlessly. They couldn't help but think about it every day until it became unavoidable. All of a sudden, they were constantly reminded to quit holding back. An unanticipated smile, a sentimental remembrance, and a well-known tune. They were all subtly reminded that real connections are worthy of bravery. With each day that goes by, the joyful news they are bringing gets brighter. It now seems like a present that they are eager to give to you. However, they have yet to divulge one extremely sensitive detail too soon. Their enthusiasm appears to be greater than before since it is the missing component. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. Stay tuned until the very end because all of the unanswered questions from the start of this journey will suddenly make perfect sense once that hidden detail is revealed. The truth is significantly more unexpected than your imagination has permitted, even though you may believe you already know where this story is going. They are no longer waiting for the ideal opportunity. They are getting ready to make it themselves. The atmosphere surrounding this narrative feels very different now. What was previously doubtful now seems unstoppable. The person you care about is on the verge of a moment they have long dreamed of. Realizing that there won't be a justification for them to keep their feelings hidden once they take the initial step. Your response means more to them than words could possibly express, therefore they can't stop thinking about it. They hope that their words will bring solace, their candor will bring tranquility, and their amazing news will make others smile long after the talk is over. However, they are still guarding one last surprise, delaying it until the very moment when it will have the biggest effect. Everything you've heard thus far could become a cohesive narrative with that one revelation. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. The next chapter reveals the secret they have been holding with unbroken excitement, so stick around until the very end. When those eagerly anticipated words are finally uttered, you will realize why all of the delays, quiet times, and unresolved emotions culminated in this momentous turning point. It's getting closer to the conversation they've been fantasizing about. It is now closer than before. And once it starts, neither heart will ever see this voyage in the same light again. They have finally reached the moment they have been waiting for, and they no longer want to go back. A sense of assurance they had never experienced before had silently replaced every hesitation that had previously slowed their heart. They keep picturing how things will start with a single, sincere sentence that conveys months' worth of unsaid feelings rather than with complex words. They can no longer conceal the joyful news beneath a smile. They now look forward to tomorrow when they go to sleep and wake up with hope because of it. They think that when this discussion does take place, it will provide answers to questions that neither of you ever dared to ask out loud. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. The biggest surprise is still to come, so stay until the very end. They are no longer preoccupied with potential problems. They are contemplating all that might ultimately come to pass in their hearts. They've already made the transition from fear to faith. They are now extending an invitation for you to visit them on the opposite side. Words that have been waiting for the right opportunity to be heard are ready to take the place of the seemingly unending quiet. And it's closer than it's ever been. Their enthusiasm only intensifies as the hours go by. They can't stop imagining the future, seeing a conversation full of laughter, relief, and the sense that everything has finally come together. The most surprising thing to them is how natural everything now feels. Quiet confidence has taken the place of the uncertainty that once governed every choice. They are bringing good news that has the capacity to improve not only a single day but also the future. However, they have carefully concealed one last aspect because they want its significance to become clear at the perfect moment. Their heart has become so difficult to silence because of that hidden truth. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. Stay until the very end because everything you've heard from the start of this adventure is connected by what happens next. They are no longer questioning their readiness. They are aware of this already. The only thing left is the moment when your paths eventually cross and one sincere chat makes everything they have practiced in silence a reality. The narrative is now on the verge of its most significant turning point. The person you love believes that every action they have taken has prepared them for one special moment. The first words they say are practically audible to them. The amazing news they had been eager to deliver for a long time follows those words. It is full of sincerity, hope, and the prospect of a better future than either of you could have ever dreamed. However, there is still one amazing surprise that has not yet been revealed, just waiting for the right moment. That last insight will clarify why this voyage could never have begun sooner, why every silent chapter had a purpose, and why every delay mattered. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. The truth they have fiercely guarded is revealed in the following chapter, so stay until the very end. Everything that was previously unclear will instantly become evident once those eagerly anticipated words are finally spoken, and you will realize why this conversation was always supposed to happen at the perfect time. The person you love now has a quiet certainty in them. Additionally, it feels unlike anything they've ever encountered. Their heart has already discovered the solution, therefore they are no longer hunting for indications. They have been ready for this one conversation for every second of silence. And every unresolved emotion has gradually evolved into an excuse to proceed rather than hesitate. With every day that goes by, the joyful news they have been bearing gets brighter. It seems as though it has been waiting for the ideal moment to come to light. When the reality eventually reaches you, they can't stop picturing your face, and the very concept makes them feel uncontrollably excited. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. The most memorable discovery is still to come, so stay until the very end. They are aware that a few words won't be enough to terminate this talk. Both hearts will carry that memories for a very long time. They are no longer walking with uncertainty, so every step they take feels lighter. They are walking with optimism. They get more convinced that this encounter is not coincidental the closer they get to you. Nothing can stop what is about to happen because the right time has finally come for you both. Additionally, there has been a profound shift in their outlook. Instead of asking questions, they are now smiling as they look to the future. A stronger voice now informs them that sincere feelings should be conveyed while the opportunity is still in front of them, making the anxieties that earlier murmured, "Wait a little longer," nearly impossible to hear. This change is related to the amazing news they wish to share with you. It's not just thrilling. It symbolizes a new beginning that they previously thought was unattainable. Their eagerness to finally tell you all that has been quietly residing inside their hearts grows with each hour that goes by. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. One piece of the story is still missing, so stick around until the very end. That last piece explains why they suddenly felt confident, why they can't help but smile, and why they think this conversation will be one of the most significant experiences for either of you. They no longer hope that the ideal chance will present themselves. They are getting ready to seize that chance for themselves. And they already sense that the gap between honesty and quiet is closing with each heartbeat. The journey is currently on the verge of its biggest breakthrough. The person you love can practically feel every emotion they have been holding inside for so long as they speak for the first time. They are prepared to replace waiting with action, distance with intimacy, and doubt with honesty. It's finally time to reveal the amazing news they've been so excited to share. However, a stunning surprise is still concealed behind the curtain. Nothing that has been disclosed thus far has the same significance as the ultimate truth. Because it clarifies why each setback served a purpose and how each unanticipated turn moved both hearts closer to this priceless moment. There's a big thing waiting for you, so don't skip. The final message they have been carrying all along is revealed in the following chapter, so stay until the very end. Everything you have heard up to that point will come together like the last pieces of a stunning puzzle. And you'll see why they couldn't wait another day to talk. The quiet is coming to an end. The truth is prepared. And now it's time to start the conversation they've been dreaming about.